All right, so we're going to do something a little different for those of you who've seen my first show, so to speak. But I want to put across a concept that music sometimes is a precursor of change in the world, in the economy. And I'm going to play a song that you should probably all know. And then I'll tell you why I played it. Everyone recognize that song? No? Stairway to
You
Heaven.
were cutting in and out a little bit. I couldn't hear the whole thing.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll try it again. Was that better, Kim? Okay. So why
Yes.
did I play that song? Besides the fact that I'm a diehard Zeppelin fan, that was the #1 song all through 1972. And if you look at the lyrics and you feel the music, it's a ballad. It's a fairy tale. It's about, unicorns and golden roads and everything that glitters, and it's happy. And the following year, the economy went into one of the worst bear market recessions in American history. Similarly, in 1982, Journey came out with a song that said, "Don't Stop Believing." And that was right when the market turned back up. So, what I want to talk today about with less guitar and more concept is surviving the bear market. Because, yes, I know we've had a wonderful rally the last few weeks, but trust me, we're in a bear market and we're in a recession. And if you don't believe so, go buy some groceries. So, we did a poll a few weeks ago, and I want to show you what happens in the crashes. In 1987, for those of us who were there, we lost 22.6% in one day. It took 2 years to recover. And here's the funny part. 500 billion was wiped out in one day. Today, that's just a ripple in the lake. In 2000 to 2002, the infamous dot-com crash, where Wall Street's idea of diversification was instead of 2 technology funds, you had 6. The NASDAQ lost 77% of its value. And that's where people were predominantly invested. It took 15 years to recover. And of course, the subprime, we lost 57%, and it took 17 months. This will come back and really mean something when I talk about risk management. So 2022, anybody's guess, the S&P is still down 9%. The NASDAQ is still down 16%, so who knows? So here were the top concerns. Do I have the right strategy? Will I run out of money in retirement? I won't be able to retire. How can I create lifetime income? Now, let me share with you that this poll ran for 2 weeks and we had over 2,000 responses. So, first one, do I have the right strategy? Well, the first question you have to ask yourself is, what is my long-term goal? For some people, it's to call it a day at a certain age, buy the house in Cape Cod or down in Florida, and that's it. Play golf, play with the grandchildren, go to the Bluebird special, okay? How have you determined your risk tolerance? And I'm going to show you an example of a different way to analyze your risk. But too many times the Wall Street firms, and this is why I contend the bottle's broken, they ask you a question that's intellectual. Okay, gee, Drew, you're down 15%. What do you do? I do nothing because I'm long-term. B, I hide my head in the sand. C, I'm nervous. I call my advisor to ask what we do. D, I'm too nervous. I sell everything. E, I jump out the window. It's great, but money's emotional. If I said to Drew, hey, Drew, you're down $150,000, that's going to have a much different meaning. So you've got to have a real handle on your risk. Okay. And is your is your investment allocation really aligned with economic policy? And I'm going to show you a real harsh example of that in a couple of slides. Okay. And when do you plan on starting chapter 2? I mean, for me, I probably will continue working until they carry me out. I'm pretty sure Jeannie's going to do the same. All right. Will I run out of money? And I'm just going to go through these quickly because I want to give you some emphasis about the economic alignment. You've got to be aware that we're living longer. Okay. By the time our parents were 65, we were thinking, well, 10 years, life expectancy was 72 for men, 75 for women. What's your annual spend? Now, here's one thing I have to share with you. Your expenses are not going to go down in retirement. You may think so. Someone may be telling you it's not going to happen. And I'll tell you this much, your taxes don't go down either. And any of you that own a house that you've paid off, you're paying more in taxes now than you were paying for your mortgage. The sequence of returns. This is a fancy term that basically says, well, how'd the market do the first 5 years you retired? Well, if the market had a good 3 to 5 years after you retired, you're good because you're taking some money from your portfolio, but you should have enough growth to make up what you took out and still grow. What happens if it was 2008 and the first year you retired, your portfolio got slammed? Well, now instead of taking 3%, maybe it's now 6 or 7%. But you didn't earn anything, you lost. What if it happens 2 years in a row? So you've got to understand that that is really critical. And if your advisor's not addressing it, you need to address it with them. Okay, I can't stress enough. You have to have automatic cash savings. I don't care if you're broke, because when I had that business reversal 30 years ago, we knew we were in trouble because we never had, money came in, went right out. We started taking 3% of every paycheck. We didn't think we could do it, but we didn't miss the money. And it took a while, but all of a sudden, oh my God, there's 5,000. Next, there's 20,000. And you're increasing your net worth. When you have cash, life is a lot easier. And you don't have to disrupt your portfolio. Okay, how much time do I have left? Okay. Most people don't have a pension. 2 minutes?
2 minutes, Scott, sorry.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go through this quick. Social Security will be there, but not enough. You might have a shortfall in your savings, okay? Bottom line, you can use bonds, CDs, Social Security, annuities, and life insurance, okay, as ways to create income. Okay, you've all seen this emotional chart, but I want to skip to the economic side. Policy moves markets, okay? From 12/31/2020 to a year later, the S&P gained 26.89%. Huge. 1 year later, it was down 13%. What changed? Now, I want you to remember, this is not politics. This is policy. What changed was the energy policy and the interest rate policy. If you know anything about capitalism, those are the two most important ingredients, the cost of money and the cost of energy. That's why a year ago, I was paying $1.99 for a dozen and a half eggs, and now I saw it for $6. Didn't buy it, but that's another story. Price of gasoline was $2.18. It's now $4.35 national average as of last week. The yield on the 10-year treasury was paying less than 1%. And now it's been hovering between 2.7 and 3%. That's what changed. All right, I know I'm out of time. I'll talk to everyone about risk some other time. But if you don't know what your risk number is, and you don't know what the risk number of your portfolio is, you could have a gap that could come back to bite you hard. What do you do now? Find out your risk number, find out your portfolio's risk number, close the gap. Ask yourself, am I still invested the same as I was before policy changed? If you are, we should have a conversation. Make sure you're aligned, check your emotions at the door, give yourself the benefit of a second opinion, and email me to find out your risk. Okay, Drew, I'm sorry if I went over, but that's
Nope.
my story, and I'm sticking to it.